Friends, this is the story of a very big and popular actress, Elizabeth Sparkle, but now she is not as young as before, and with increasing age, her popularity is also decreasing. Elizabeth was aware of this, and when the ladies' washroom was closed. Because of this, she used the gents' washroom. Here she hears her producer saying that we need a young actress, this old woman is of no use to us. He fires Elizabeth from the job the same day and says that now you should move forward. Elizabeth, on her way home, saw her posters coming down, and then she met with an accident, but Elizabeth did not get a single scratch from the accident. The doctor discharged her, then Elizabeth started crying. The doctor's assistant came to Elizabeth and he was her friend, checks heartbeat and backbone. He said, "You are perfect," but here he secretly gave a pen drive to Elizabeth. Then there he meets his old school friend. He says, "Elizabeth, you are still as beautiful. If we should meet someday." Elizabeth takes his number. She comes home, she starts this pen drive to check, then a video plays in front in which it is told that due to this injection of ours, a beautiful and better version of you has come out of you. It will turn out that you just have to spend 7 days with your better version and 7 with your original version, but always remember that you are only one. Elizabeth thought it was nonsense and dropped the pen drive. She goes out to drink, but due to excessive drinking, vomits from her, Elizabeth felt that she was not liking her old age at all, so she took out the pen drive. She called and ordered this substance. Elizabeth was given an address. In the morning, a courier had come to Elizabeth's house. It has a key number 503. Elizabeth went to the given address with this key. There were big lockers inside. Elizabeth opened the locker number 503 and picked up her package. This package had an injection, a stabilizing device, and a switching device. There was a device and some food. Elizabeth first got this injection. As soon as the injection was given, she started feeling dizzy. She started having severe pain. She started writhing in pain. Rapid changes started taking place in her body. Her 2 eyes gradually formed. Slowly, after tearing her body, another body came out. This body was young, it was hot, it had everything that Elizabeth was lacking, so this body first stitched Elizabeth's torn body together. Elizabeth put the food that came inside the package. When Elizabeth started breathing, this other body was happy to see itself, but then something happened to her. Her nose started bleeding. She remembered that she had to stabilize herself. This body released a liquid from Elizabeth's backbone. She puts 1 dose inside herself. As soon as the dose is taken, she becomes fine. Now she has to take 1 dose every day for the next 6 days to stay fine. This body gets ready and goes out. She goes straight to give an audition. This girl. As soon as he saw Sue, he fell in love with her and asked her name. This body said Sue. The same producer of Elizabeth's old show comes to meet Sue. He gives Sue Elizabeth's show, but Sue says that I am only for a week. I can work every next week. I have to take care of my sick mother. The producer of the show agreed that Elizabeth's show becomes dry. He shot the show and a week passed by. Today he has to switch with Elizabeth's body. Both of them switch between themselves as Sue passes out. Elizabeth woke up. Her torn back was hurting. Elizabeth got up and looked at Sue. She put 7th day's worth of food inside her. Elizabeth got ready and went back to her producer, who gives her all the remaining stuff. So now there was no work to be completed. She passed the time somehow. She again went to the same locker room. From here she picked up her stuff for the next week, and after 7 days, Sue's time came again, but in Sue's mind had a different idea today. She breaks her bathroom and makes a secret room. She hides Elizabeth's body in it. She puts her own photos in place of Elizabeth's photos. Her show was also a hit outside, and she became a popular model like Elizabeth at night. She goes to parties there, and today she also brought a boy home, but this was Sue's 7th, i.e. last day, so her nose started bleeding. She has to switch with Elizabeth soon, but Sue does not do that. She wants to switch. Another one from Elizabeth's back. Instead of after taking out the liquid of the day, she gets well again and goes to that boy. Then her body organs came out. But it was all a dream of Elizabeth, seeing which when she woke up, one of her fingers was damaged. Elizabeth tried to wash it. She tries, but nothing happens. She also gets pain in her back. All this happened due to taking an extra dose. When Elizabeth calls the number of the substance people, they also say that once it is gone, it comes back. "Can't come," says Elizabeth, but it is her fault. Then the people in front said that yes, no one is hers, no one is yours. You both are the same. Hearing this, Elizabeth gets angry, and then she also saw Sue's new show, After This Again, this week. Elizabeth went to get the package and stopped at a cafe on the way, and here she found an old man who was also using all this breath. In fact, he was the same man working in the hospital who had given Elizabeth the pen drive, and here too, Elizabeth has come chasing him and asks, "Has your body also started eating you?" Elizabeth runs away scared. She goes back to her home, and here she sees the number of her friend who called her beautiful after meeting her outside the hospital. Elizabeth calls him. She meets him for a while. Wanting to be happy, the man also agreed. Elizabeth got ready at night, but as soon as she was about to go out of her house, she saw Sue's photo. Elizabeth starts comparing herself with Sue and starts getting ready like her. But no matter what Elizabeth does, she can't look like Sue. The man kept waiting for Elizabeth. Elizabeth started eating solid food at home, and its effect was visible the next day when she was dancing for her show. She felt something in her body. While the cameramen were checking their cameras, Sue Sharma went to her room. She noticed that there was something stuck in her body, so she took it out through her belly button. It was a chicken leg piece. The next time Sue woke up from the exchange, she saw that Elizabeth was eating a lot of food. She complains to everyone that that belly woman is eating while sitting all the time, and she is not getting time for herself. So she told Sue that there is no one here. That's not it. Both of you are one and the same. And here Sue was called by his producer, who has brought an even bigger offer for him. The producer told Sue that you have to host the New Year party of our channel. Sue happily agrees. That rose from inside Elizabeth. She started taking extra doses. After a few days, when Elizabeth regained consciousness, her body was half damaged. She complained to everyone about this. They asked her if she wanted to stop all this. Now, if Elizabeth stops this thing now, then she will. She would never come back, but her damaged body was also not going to get better. Elizabeth thought about this thing a lot, but seeing the dry and growing popular, she did not stop this process. Then at night, her body stopped working properly. Also, to bend the leg, I had to push a lot. Then suddenly an interview of Sue came in front of her. Here, Sue was praising herself for everything. When the interviewer asked whether you know that you have replaced Elizabeth Sparkle, she started talking about Elizabeth. And hearing all this, Elizabeth gets angry that you are who you are because of me, and you are insulting me. In anger, Elizabeth covers her posters. She explains to herself, i.e. Sue, before switching this time, "You are me, and don't forget this." So, after getting up and seeing the condition of the house, Sue started shouting at Elizabeth. She angrily takes out all the liquid from her backbone. Now she does not want to go back into Elizabeth's body. 3 months passed in the body, and New Year also approached. Today, there was a boy with her in the house. So before going to her, Sue went to Elizabeth, and after taking out some more liquid, today this liquid came out to be black in color, i.e. affected. So all breathing people, they call Sue and they say, if you want more liquid, then switch with Elizabeth, but Sue can't do that because yesterday was New Year, and then she gets dizzy and falls down. She is forced to switch with Elizabeth, and Elizabeth's, the condition was not even worth seeing. Her entire body was ruined. The boy who came with Sue also ran away after hearing her voice. Elizabeth goes out and calls all the tonsils. She said that now I have to stop all this. Elizabeth goes in this condition and takes a photo of herself, pulls into the middle of the room. The next day she got ready and went to the locker room again. From here she got an injection. As soon as she took this termination injection, she would be finished. Elizabeth took this injection with great courage, but while doing so, her mind changed. When she started talking about how everyone was loving Sue, she stopped because actually Sue was also Elizabeth. She tried to wake her up, but Sue's nose started bleeding. Elizabeth quickly switched herself with Sue. Tries to get up, but this time no one is unconscious. Sue wakes up and sees the termination injection. As soon as she sees it, she starts attacking Elizabeth. In anger, Sue almost kills Elizabeth. Then something starts happening to her too. She remembers that both of them were one and the same. If Elizabeth dies, she too will not survive. The day after leaving all this, she went to her New Year show, and here her teeth broke. Then she meets her producer outside. He was asking her to smile. Sue ran away after smiling in front of him, so now her nails, Sue's ear starts to break and gets cut. So she runs away to her home to get an activated injection so that a better version can come out of her, but this injection also works wrongly, and Druck gets destroyed, one of which is Elizabeth's mouth too. This thing had gone completely crazy, but still she gets ready. She got ready and went to the New Year show wearing Elizabeth's face. She felt that everyone was praising her, but there was no one here. This thing was like this. She climbs on the stage. As soon as he went on stage, his mask came off. People started shouting after seeing him. These things burst in front of people. His blood started falling on people. People ran away in fear. Then finally, this thing also reached the same place from where the story started. Friends, this story also ends here. Thanks for watching. Thanks.